Hi guys, so as you can see from the title, this is the much talked about Holy Grails video, and I'm going to warn you ahead of time, it's going to be a long one. There's quite a few products here, so feel free to fast forward, skip ahead. I will put all of the products mentioned in the below bar so you can refer to that. And what constitutes a Holy Grail? You know, for me, it's about a product that I'm going to repurchase over and over. Well, probably for the rest of my life. It's just that good. Or you just get a gut instinct. Even sometimes you're using it and going, wow, that is a freaking Holy Grail. So there's no real rhyme or reason. It's just something that I think is, that it's a phenomenal product that kind of leaves the rest in the dust, and that I can't find something like it anywhere else. It's really, really unique. It's there's, you know, different requirements, and again, these are all just my opinions, so I should get started because lordy, woo, it's going to be a long day. Okay, so I'm going to start with skincare first and move down, and I will say ahead of time that there isn't a product for each category. I was thinking about perhaps doing that, but I thought, you know, that doesn't really make any sense for me to do it, to just pick something just because I don't have, you know, a blush there. And even though I love my blushes, there wasn't anything that really kind of pulled to me that said, wow, you know, that's a Holy Grail. So there are missing components, and in the future, if I find something, I'll just do add-ons. So, okay, skincare. The first product is the CLARISONIC. I got it maybe 2 years ago, and I noticed a huge difference to my skin. Huge. It is a little bit pricey, absolutely. I'm not sure how much this one was, a few $100s, but definitely worth it to me. I will have this for years and years and years. There's never been a glitch to it. Nothing has ever happened to it. And I noticed a huge improvement to my skin. I only use it once a day, and I usually do it at in the mornings. Because I really want to have that sort of dewy glow. It does do somewhat of an exfoliation, although it's not meant to do that. I find my serums just really absorb better. And so that's definitely the first one. And, you know, I just think that if you are somebody who likes going and having facials done and things like that, and not necessarily for the relaxation aspect, but really for the health of your skin, then this would probably cost you maybe 2 facials, maybe 3, and yet you can use this every single day for years and years to come. So, you know, I kind of level it out that way. I personally don't do facials, but this is as though I would go and see somebody every day. It's that good. So, and I think they have a Mia one or some other less expensive one, and I haven't tried that out, but I just stuck with not the first original. This was sort of the new and improved one, but anyways, CLARISONIC #1, absolute Holy Grail, changed my skin. The next one is a cleanser. Now I do use a lot of Shiseido products. It wasn't by choice. I didn't specifically want to stay with them all these years for the last 20 years. It's the only line that has really made a difference in my skin because I have tried so many. I mean, even though you like something, you just think you're going to find something better and better, and so we all just go out there and try tons. And, you know, over 25 years or more, I have tried tons of different skincare lines, and I always tend to come back to Shiseido for some reason, especially if I'm experimenting and my face flares up, because it's gotten incredibly sensitive in the last 6-8 years. As soon as I go back to Shiseido, it calms everything right down very quickly. So again, throughout the years, I've tried so many different products from the line, and I've really narrowed it down to two that I think, wow, amazing, and made a huge difference. So the first one is a cleanser. And I happen to use the white Lucent. It's a brightening cleansing foam. I have really, really dry, sensitive, dehydrated skin. Foams are usually meant for oily skins. I don't know what Shiseido has done, but this is totally fine for my skin. It's going to feel dry regardless. Even if I splash water on my face, when I pat that dry, it feels dry. So it doesn't matter. My skin just is dry. And even though they're saying use cleansing milks and cleansing creams, I don't like the residue. I just want a clean surface, and I will hydrate it using serums or moisturizer rather than my cleanser. And so that, so luxurious, amazing. It foams up like crazy. There's certainly other foam. I mean, La Mer has a cleansing foam that I've tried, quite light. Estee Lauder had some, which I actually didn't really like. I just love their cleansing foams. And they have so many different lines. This, for brightening, they say battles hyperpigmentation. I don't think so. I don't think that when I use this, oh my God, my hyperpigmentation's gone. Never happened, but it does brighten somewhat. They have the Pureness line, and that's more for oily skin. They have the Benefiance line, which is more for maturing, aging skin. They have just what's called the skincare, which I believe is more for just normal skin, not really reactive. And they have White Lucent, Bio Performance. There's so many different offshoots or cleansing foams, and all of them are phenomenal. So there's that. The next Shiseido product is eye creams. I really went on a mad hunt for a phenomenal eye cream, and I've tried quite a few, from super high end like La Prairie Caviar to La Mer, Sicily, then the sort of midline Dermalogicas. I mean, any line that I chose, I would try an eye cream in that line, and there's too many to mention. And I don't know if you can see this. I mean, honestly, the lighting is fantastic. I wish I looked like this in my everyday life, but I don't. So you may not see it, but if I can, right here, I don't know if you can see, I've got a double sort of puffiness. And it was really bad. And I had used a Shiseido Day eye cream that I really liked. And as soon as I incorporated this product, changed that underneath area by 100%. I just could not believe. And maybe it's synergistically the two, but I will show you this one. And this is the Benefiance Concentrated Anti-Wrinkle Eye Cream. It's very rich. If you don't like rich textures, you're not going to like this. You are going to find it way too heavy. I personally love it. I use so little of it. I mean, honestly, that could do an entire eye below and above, and maybe even half the other eye. It's that concentrated. And I just do that. I don't ever do this or any of that. I literally do that all the way around the eye, and it just disperses. And very rich. So forewarn. All my products, in terms of face products, are incredibly rich. And so I just found this made a huge difference. That dissipated. I mean, if you would have seen me quite a few years ago and I hadn't incorporated this, it was really a double bag puffy. It just gets thinner, gravity, you know, takes hold, and it starts to slope down more. I'll just show you this. This is my day. This isn't my holy grail, even though I love it and I will probably always use it. I just found this is what made the huge difference. And this one's the Bio Performance for day. So those are the eye creams. Now, serum-wise, okay. SKINCEUTICALS CE Ferulic. I've written entry on my blog. I've talked about it, I believe, in my Daytime Favorite Skincare Part 2. I think it's just about this product. What can I say? I don't want to be redundant and have this video go on to be like 2 hours long. But the one thing that has completely changed my skin. Let me just leave it at that. Before I use this, completely different to after. And I've been using it for 5 or 6 years now. And pretty pricey. It's about 140, 150 Canadian for a little 30 ml bottle. It lasts me for maybe 5 months, daily use. You certainly don't have to use it in the day because it is in your body for 3 days in terms of the protection of the 96% of the sun's rays. I just love it for the glow factor because of the C. And this is the one thing that has completely changed my skin. Really faded the hyperpigmentation, although it will come back when it's in direct sunlight or exposed to it. And you can go back to the other video if you want any more info on this one, but it honestly has completely changed my skin. It is more for dry skin. A lot of people had complaints that it was too moisturizing for them because of the vitamin E. And SKINCEUTICALS, it took them 5 years, but they came out with Fluoretin CF or CF Fluoretin. I'm not sure which one. I've tried that as well. I love this one. It's meant for my skin. So there's that. The next we have, I guess, moisturizers, daytime. I also have a video out about this, so I won't go into that. Again, very, very rich. There's two sort of schools of thought. Lisa Eldridge, who I respect tremendously for her artistry, her just brilliance. Now, you know, she has talked about it, and she doesn't tend to like to put many different layers under foundation, and you know, the thinner the better. She doesn't like a sort of heavy approach to it. And then there's a school of thought that's more sort of Kevin Aucoin, Billy B, who, you know, when Kevin was alive, used creme de la mer most of the times as underneath. Now that's a very, very heavy cream. I've heard Billy B speak when he's done demos, going, you know, just go out and run to the drugstore and buy some Eucerin and try that on your face, because the heaviness of that just lets your foundation just go on beautifully. And I will say, since I switched to using very heavy creams, my foundation has gone on brilliantly. Beforehand, patchy, dry flakes, kind of dull looking. So I personally like very heavy creams, whether it's La Mer, whether it's this. I use oils all the time, just personal preference. But there's that. The next is something that I've only used for a few years, and that's argan oil. I just have only used this brand, which is the JOSIE MARAN. I'm assuming argan oil is argan oil. And I will say in the beginning, I didn't quite like it that much. I used it for a few months. I didn't really know, maybe I was using too much. I wasn't quite sure. I put it in a drawer for 3 months, re-brought it out, and have been using it all the time ever since, for a few years now, and I love it. In fact, I find this underneath my Laura Mercier mineral powder specifically. Those two together really work phenomenally for my skin. I'm wearing them both right now. And I just find the mineral powder looks a little bit better with this rather than my HAUSCHKA Day Cream or my La Mer cream. So I don't know. You're going to have to try it out, but love it. Love it for sure. Nighttime is DECLEOR. Now, they used to do what's called the Essential Balm. It used to come bigger, but I could only find this little baby one. And I believe they've discontinued this now. I don't know why. And so when I did some investigating, I realized that the Iris Balm probably would be better suited to me now at this age. So I'm not as sad about leaving the Essential behind, because I think as I got older, I would have had to have moved into this one, which is the Iris. And it's a beautiful, rich balm. Again, use very little, emulsify it. It is an oil, and then, you know, you can massage it or do whatever you want, however you put on your products. And I love it, and it makes a huge difference the next day when I use any of these balms. Your face is plumped. There's a pinkness to it. It doesn't look sort of weathered and haggard. It really looks like the regenerating process has really taken hold over the night, and maybe perhaps this has sort of been the impetus to that. But I love the way my skin looks and feels when incorporating oils at nighttime. So that's another one. And moving on to zit creams. Okay. You know, we all get them. Even though I am not acne prone, I don't have oily skin. Of course, I've gotten hormonal zits or just food zits or whatever. I mean, one of them just wants to come out and say hello to the world. Who knows? But, and I have tried tons of things throughout the years, whether it's from just straight tea tree oil, witch hazel, those kinds of things, to Clean and Clear, Mario Badescu, even Differin, which I believe dermatologists can prescribe to you. And none of them really worked all that great. I mean, I don't know if it was that or just time, you know, they start going down after a while. And what I didn't like was that if I was to use, say, something like tea tree, and I would put it on a blemish, the surrounding skin of it would be so scorched and dry from how powerful this was, so that if you tried to put anything on it, it just looked like a hot mess. And quite frankly, we all get them. I don't think anyone would judge you for having a pimple on your face. And so I don't tend to cover those things up too much, because it's life, you know, and we all have them. And in fact, we just kind of go, oh, okay, she's got one too, yay. Rather than trying to cover it up, because, you know, I think more people would make a sort of assumption of, ooh, that looks really kind of cakey and gross, and she's really sort of packed it on, rather than just seeing a pimple. So I don't tend to try and cover like crazy, and especially if you're putting something topical and it dries it out and it's crusty. This has worked for me for 5 years now. It's been amazing, and it's a drugstore here, and it's Vichy. It's the Norma Derm Active Anti-Imperfection Concentrate. What I love about it is that it's just a straight little cream, and it's kind of blue, has a very sort of fresh kind of scent to it, and it doesn't dry it out at all. In fact, I can put makeup right over it and you wouldn't see any sort of cakey patches. And when I use that, if something's coming and I use it maybe 3 or 4 times, you know, perhaps this says to just use it at night, I don't, you know, do that. I put it on multiple times throughout the day, and by the next day, it's almost gone. And I've never had a product actually do that. Now, when it's one of those cystic ones, or it's really, really big, it's just time, unfortunately. But this certainly cuts down on how long it's going to be around. So this, I'm so glad I got wind of this, because this really, really works for my pimples. So there's that. And moving on to sunscreen. I use the SKINCEUTICALS Ultimate UV Defense SPF 30. I've spoken about it many times. This is just my particular favorite. It leaves a beautiful sheen. It's almost like an illuminator underneath your foundations. And even on its own, when I don't wear foundation in the summertime, I just really love the sheen that it gives. So love that. This is brand new. I just did a video, but I'm going to include it just because of the ease of use, and somebody thinking of a sort of brush on powdered sunscreen to reapply throughout the day, because there's no point. I mean, I used to pat myself in the back going, well, at least I use sunscreen every day. Well, there's no point. It's virtually doing nothing if I don't reapply throughout the day. Unless I'm just out for a few hours, then it's totally fine and that's enough protection. But if I'm spending hours out, I go see a movie, then I go for lunch, and then I do something, and blah, 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 I'm not protected. It's as though I have nothing on. So this, brilliant just for the whole idea of it. I heard somebody actually just wrote that Bare Minerals or Bare Essentials has a contraption just like this. I'm not a fan of Bare Minerals, but I might check it out just to have more options. Chantecaille also has had one for quite a bit, and I just don't believe in paying that kind of price for something when I can find it so much cheaper. It's $65 US for the Chantecaille, which means probably, even though our money's kind of at par, it would be close to 90 here, and that's ridiculous. So I've included that. And lastly, to do with the skin is my Holy Grail lip balm. And quite a few people have asked, and I'm so sorry that I've had to sort of say, wait. I hate doing that because I just sort of want to share it all at once. But again, it's another HAUSCHKA product, and it is the Lip Care Stick. Now, what I used to use all the time beforehand was Rosebud Sal. Loved it. It's a cult favorite, and I can see why. It's an amazing product. Hydration is phenomenal. Not too crazy about the scent. It was a little bit perfumey rose, but I didn't care because it was sort of a miracle product. And really soothed chapped lips. I mean, it would soothe cracked hands, cuticles, everything. What I didn't like is having to put my fingers into the container. If I'm at home, I'll use that because I can just go wash my hands. If I'm out and about, I don't want to start putting my fingers into something and have that just sort of sit in the container. So I was really looking for a stick. And this is amazing. I've repurchased at least 10 times. It's amazing, amazing, amazing. And the reason being is once I put it on, I don't have to reapply over and over. I found things like Carmex, even the Lacura, perhaps I've got, because I'm so dry and dehydrated to begin with, that if I'm actually feeling it on my lips, that means the dryness has gone to the upteenth level. So I found everything else would irritate it more. I'd have to keep reapplying. This just is like a cozy warm blanket on my lips or something. It just gives a beautiful sort of, see, I'm already doing it right now. It's just very luxurious. I like the texture of it. It really soothes and calms any chappedness. But the benefit is that this is not a flat sort of lip balm, which a lot are. Even the Fresh, which I love the scent, I found it quite waxy and I didn't like the texture, and it just was sort of flat. All of them were kind of flat. This has a sheen. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but oh no, nuts. Oh, can you see that maybe? It has a sheen to it, so that I've even worn this with really dark, can I say dark any more times? Eyes, and then just a lip balm. And I have like dead lips, but this is enough just because it gives that little bit of sheen and glossiness to it without it being like a lip gloss, because it's very, well, if you ever wind up getting it, you'll know what I mean. So there's that. Let's move on to makeup. Wow, this is going to be a long one. Sorry, folks. Primer. Talked about, no, actually I've never talked about, people have asked. I've talked about the fact that I don't like silicone-based primers. I don't mind it in hair products and things, but on my face it feels really greasy, really processed. I just don't like that sensation. And Laura Mercier, I've been using this for, well, since she first brought it out years and years and years ago. And I love it. It's very gel-based. It doesn't feel greasy at all. It does its job. I can understand why makeup artists love this, and it's a staple. And this is a new product, but I've spoken about it. I also have a video about it. It's one of my raves, and that is obviously the Laura Mercier Mineral Powder Foundation. Again, this is what I mean about certain holy grails. You just know the first time you use it, you just go, whoop, well, that's a holy grail. I only used it once, and I know already that it's going to be a holy grail. Amazing, 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 unlike any other mineral powder out there in my mind. Creamy, dewy. Again, I'm wearing it right now. I'm getting a little bit shiny because of the lights and being in an enclosed space for 22 minutes. So there you go. Enough said. And really, that's the only foundation I'm going to show, because even though I love my other foundations, they're not quite holy grail. Application, Beauty Blender. For any foundation, hands down, nothing has ever beaten this in terms of finish for me. And I really think it's not necessarily the shape or anything, it's the water. It's because, I mean, people have used it dry, and that's fine too. It's a heavier application that way. I always use it with water, so this plumps up, you know, double the size. And there's quite a bit of water. I mean, I put it in there, squeeze it till it plumps, and then I squeeze it all out, wrap it in a paper towel to get all the water out, but there's still a lot in there. And number one, it doesn't soak up your product, so you're wasting less. But it's just a stippling, sort of a bouncing motion, and because of that water, it leaves the most gorgeous natural finish. Even with my heavier cream foundations, it's going to look like I'm not even wearing anything, that it's just your skin coming through. And I know that you can, you know, spritz a brush, you can put, you know, add water to whatever and apply it that way. There's something different about spritzing water on a brush versus having it in a sponge throughout the entire process while you're putting it on, in my opinion. And so this, honestly, I don't think I'll ever find anything that beats it. So definitely holy grail for me. Okay, so, wow, I can't believe I'm just talking so much in one sitting. Okay, concealers and correctors. Holy Grail, Giorgio Armani. I will put down exactly what it is because the print is so small and my eyes are not what they used to be, but it's a number 2 and it's the orange/peach. Brilliant corrector. In fact, sometimes it's enough for me to just wear this and no concealer on top, depending on what kind of eye day I'm having. And since I got off Lilash, you know, the dark circles have receded somewhat. I mean, obviously some of it's just age and genetics, but brilliant. And I think because it's a liquid, especially if you're going to use this as an underling to something else. So you're putting something on top of it. You don't want a heavier cream and then another thing on top. You want the thinnest application possible because you're looking at that much of an area and your skin is very thin there and it's going to cake up quite easily. So that brilliant, brilliant corrector, my Holy Grail concealer, also Giorgio Armani, and it's, I don't know what it is, but it'll be down there. And I think I have mine in a 3.5. So these two together synergistically amazing because they're both liquids. And I would much rather have a little bit of darkness come through, especially because, you know, if you wear liner under there, it's not going to be a complete clean surface. If I didn't wear any eyeliner there, perhaps I would go into something a little bit heavier because it's a blank canvas and you really want that to be as smooth and pristine as possible. But if I do wear makeup under there, I mean, there's just going to be shadows from your lashes, all that stuff. So I would much rather have a little bit of darkness show through than cakiness and have everything, your fine lines and then the powder and the cake and stuff. So I really am a proponent of liquid concealers. I don't like cream concealers at all, really. They all cake up on me. And but mind you, I don't have hereditary dark circles. That's a completely different thing. I'm just speaking about someone who has moderate dark circles, maybe not too bad. When I was using Lilash, I did have to go into something a little bit heavier, still in liquid form, but a little heavier. So this is for somebody who doesn't have really bad dark circles, because if you use this and you have really dark genetic or, you know, blood, all that stuff, it may not work for you. It might be a bit too light. So those two. And then we're going to go into, mascaras. Mascara base. Shiseido, I think it's called the mascara base. I've tried quite a few. There's some good ones out there. I think this is the best. Just my personal opinion. Mascaras. These are both Asian brand mascaras. I have tried a few other sort of Western, I don't know what you would call it. And definitely, I just got a huge sample of the Dior, not Dior Show, Dior Estaz or something like that. I quite like that too. But I mean, for the cost and the price, these are amazing. Fairy Drops, number 1. This is not for crazy dramatic lashes. This is for everyday. I don't know if you can see it. No, why even bother? I'm using this right now, and I do it for sort of daily. It just sort of lengthens and curves and separates, and it just leaves a beautiful sort of fanned out. I've never had it ever transfer on me, bleed or smudge or any of that stuff. So there's that. If you want crazy dramatic, like false eyelashes, crazy, it would be this. It's an offshoot of Shiseido. It's called Majolica, Majorca or something like that. Who knows? And they have quite a few. I don't know if this was the Gorgeous Lash Wing or something, but it says, hope my lashes are full and smooth or something. I don't know. It's got writing here. And that's because they've got another one identical, but it's got different writing. And that is crazy. It's got a comb applicator, so it doesn't have that brushy wand. And the first time I ever used it was kapow! Like I went like this, and it was, I've never seen lashes like that in my entire life. The caveat to that, it's really hard to take off. Really hard. So sometimes I'm just like, oh, forget about it. And, you know, sometimes you can lose 1 or 2, and I can't afford to lose any. But if I really want to make a statement, that's it. Eyeshadows. Okay. ELLIS FAAS. Specifically, well, this is probably all clean. Ooh, no, there's a little bit left because I'm wearing it right now. By the way, I'm trying to wear everything that I'm mentioning in this video. Wow. So gorgeous. And that was just the remnants of it. So you can imagine how pigmented it is when you first get the product out. When I first got it, I think I probably wore it every single day. In fact, 50% of my videos probably is me wearing this. Again, I'm wearing it today. Love, love, love it. I've spoken about it so many times I really don't need to get into it, but genius. Nothing like it. Never ran across anything like this product. This happens to be E104. It's my favorite one. I've got 4 or 5 of them, different colors. And the next is NARS Cordura Little Duo. Again, I've talked about this before too. I said beforehand I gave away all my NARS stuff. Wasn't really a fan. Didn't use them for years and years, just happened upon 1 or 2 little things, was really kind of impressed, so perhaps they've reformulated. This duo in particular is out of this world, crazy, crazy, gorgeous, and unbelievably blendable. Because sometimes when you have really, really dark colors, they don't tend to blend together as easily. I don't know what it is, but it's like butter. It's like, you know, you'll put on the one color, you'll use some maybe in the corner, and as soon as you go to blend, you do it like this, it's already blended. I mean, it's that crazy good, and the colors, gorgeous. Woo! Okay, liners. I have quite a few Armani liners. This one I use every single day, and that's the number 2 in brown. I tend not to use black anymore, just as I'm older. I just find it can be a little bit too harsh. But this, the brown, I think they have 2 browns. I've got the number 2. Is that right there? Gorgeous, gorgeous. And this I just use on my upper. Even with Prestige and certain ones that work great on my waterline to stay there, for some reason when I tight line with it, it's a hot mess. I don't know why. But this is for my upper, and I tight line every day, so phenomenal. Woo! Sorry, folks. Wow. Okay, this is for my lower lash line, not the waterline, lower lash line, and that is Annabelle, drugstore. Every single day I use this frickin' thing. So blendable, so gorgeous. I'm wearing it again today, and love it. Oh gosh. Right, brows. And I got this from watching Pixie Woo, Samantha Chapman on Pixie Woo, and it's the UEMURA hard formula. This is a hard 9 in CO brown. She uses this as well, and even though we're completely different skin tones, she's very, very pale. I'm kind of mid-tone pale, and obviously different ethnicities. This works on both of us, and I freaking love it. And I've been using this steadily since I've gotten it. I, you know, kind of put away my powders and stuff and just been using this. And I just want to show you. That's the one sort of difference between hers and mine, is she uses it with a conventional sharpener, and I actually go to Shoe and get them to, I don't know what you would call it, carve it or sharpen it? Yeah, sharpen it in their way, and they just take a razor and they sort of sharpen everything. And this harkens me back to watching my mom as a little girl put on makeup, because her brow stuff used to come in a sort of rectangular form. And I don't know if it's just an Asian thing or not. I haven't seen it anywhere else, but it is brilliant. I've actually used it quite a bit. She usually carves it where it's about this yay high. And I love it because of the shape of it, because, you know, from here before you go to the arch is sort of that shape, so you can sort of flick it and brush it through, which I love. You waste no product, because when you're doing this, you're actually shaving away a lot of that product. Whereas with this, they just expose the, well, I don't want to call it lead, because God knows lead isn't good for you, but you know what I mean. And I probably only need to get it sharpened once every 4 months, 5 months. So it really lasts a very, very long time. It'd be different if you had to go down every couple of weeks. Who has the time to do that? But once I get it sharpened, I don't have to for months and months and months. And this sucker was about, whoop, it's really long when you first buy it. I think they were about $28, $30. So you might be thinking, wow, for a brow pencil, I go to the drugstore. Honestly, this thing was twice the size. So it will last you forever. And what I loved about this, I don't know if you can tell because I've got product here, but when I went to swatch it and I kind of went this, they were like, oh no, you won't be able to see it. And the reason being is it reacts with the oils of your skin. So, and it's very hard because I've got long hair, and sometimes by the end of the day, I'll have wiped away that little leg. So, I can put on a little bit now because I've got some stuff on the back of my hand, but when I first watched it, I couldn't get anything out because it really is about corresponding with the oils of your face. And then I'm wearing it right now. And I love the color. It's sort of, it's not a real in-your-face like brow. Because, you know, I'm not crazy about that look, that's for sure. Unless you're doing minimal everywhere else. So, there's always exceptions to every rule. The next is the lash curl, and again, it's Shoe. Everyone, I mean, this is a cult product. Everyone has heard about it, and perhaps they've just gone sort of with the flow. For me, it was a marked difference between using that versus a Tweezerman or a Revlon or any of the other ones that I used growing up. I would try and curl them, but I never put mascara on because it would just be like, and then I get smudges. So, but I did try and curl them, and this is completely different because of the shape. It's not as curved. It's a little bit flatter to suit Asian eyes, and a lot of other people who don't have that particular eye shape. So that's why I think this is hailed as an amazing miracle sort of lash curler, because they all look the same, but it is different in the curvature. So it will catch every lash and correspond with the shape of a flatter eye. And also because he's used a rounded sponge there. I don't know why people have chosen square. And this should be standard now. I'm assuming everyone has sort of fallen suit with Shoe. But, you know, when you have it square, when you go this way, it kind of goes, It gives you that real sort of, well, right angle, squared effect. When you have it rounded like this, it gives the curve, like what a natural lash would do. So there's my little 2 cents on Shoe and why it's so brilliant. There's that. And mine, and I'm sure all of them, come with replacement pads. It took years for me to have to use the replacement pad. I just put that one in. So there's that. Where am I off to now? Oh, I mentioned this again for bronzer. I really do think that color and that sort of sheen and beauticiousness. Holy Grail bronzer for me. I have it in my other video, so I won't talk too much about that. And finally, lip products. Okay, I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about here. Rimmel for nude. I'm just talking about nudes here. That's what I predominantly wear. Lord, predominantly. God, can I enunciate that anymore? Obviously, I don't know how to edit, so flubs all over. Talked about it. For a nude, if you're my particular skin color, have the problem of looking dead in a nude, and especially when you're older. This, because I could wear different tone nudes when I was younger. It's different now at my age. So this is it. Rimmel's Nude Delight has a beautiful, beautiful peachy undertone. And honestly, this beats all my high-end Chanel's, whatever, blah, blah, Yves Saint Laurent. For a nude color, beats them all hands down. Holy Grail for nude. The gloss, and I'm kind of surprised, in fact, because I've had this for a little bit, and then I just, and it's not Ember Glow, which I thought would be my Holy Grail, but no, it's not. It's MAC 2N, and I think this might have been limited edition as well. But for a nude, this gloss, in fact, I ran out when I heard that one of the stores had some. I ran out and bought backups. It's the only lip, no, I did Galactic Orange Twist. But apart from that, it's the only lip gloss that I've ever bought backups for, because I never do that with gloss. There's just too many to choose from. Why should I bother? And then once you have a backup, you never use it. This I will use till the cows come home, and I actually didn't just even buy one. I bought 2 backups, and I'll probably buy more backups. Wearing it right now, and it's that. Again, nudes are so tricky. They've got to be a specific tone so it doesn't wash you out, yet still stays a nude and not a mauve or a pink or whatever. You know, nude is a particular kind of thing. It goes completely well with my skin tone, so it's just your lips, but better and glossy. And I'm really impressed with MAC's glosses. I have to say I'm not a huge fan of the line, and especially now that they're bringing out a collection every week. In fact, the on principle alone, it makes me want to boycott their products. I just think, how greedy can you get? It's ridiculous at this point to bring out you know, a collection every 2 weeks and have people just, you know, I think they're taking advantage of, you know, the illness that we all tend to have in terms of, oh, I need to get this and that. So quite pissed about that. And quite frankly, I preferred it when they were just a small Canadian company. When they started out, their brushes were better, their products were just better. And then since the Lauder Group has taken over in the last decade, 8 to 10 years, I find the brushes are completely different, not worth the money at all. And a lot of their products, their formulations. In fact, this is the interesting thing. I just bought a replacement for rice paper that I'd had for 15 or more years, and it was almost full still, but I didn't want to use something that old. I just happened to have it in a palette, so I thought I'll just throw that out and buy a new rice paper, even though I'm sure it's fine. Makeup artists have things for years and years and years, and but I just didn't want to use something that old. They are a completely different shadow. I was so blown away. Like, not even slightly different, completely different. So, not a big fan, but their glosses rock. Okay, Sage Vite for nails, say no more. We all know, we all love it. Amazing, amazing top coat, the best there is, I think. And I've just got a few, and these are more body and non-makeup related. So, body, oh my god. Like, talk about putting this on and then literally compelled to eat yourself. I've never smelled anything like it. Why am I going, smell? Whatever, it's getting, 40 minutes. All right, creme brulee, Laura Mercier. I swear to you, if you ever smell this, you will think you've died and gone to heaven. If you like, obviously, that caramel and, you know, creme brulee bakery kind of stuff. Hands down, the best thing I've ever smelled in my entire life in terms of a body butter or cream thing, and the texture of it is unlike anything else I've ever tried. It's whipped, it's silky, it's, I mean, talk about luxurious with a capital L. It's insane, this product. I've repurchased a few times. This thing is insanely expensive in Canada. The last time I purchased it was about $75 for a body cream. Like, come on, people. But it was worth it. I don't use it every day. I use my drugstore Alba, which is phenomenal and smells great as well, but the texture is totally different. This is amazing. So if you want that sort of treat, if you're a bubble bath taker or just love taking baths, I'm not one of those people. I'm a shower girl. The idea of sitting in my own filth just totally creeps me out, and I only say that to make a point because I'm not a filthy gal. And I know that I'm really not that dirty, but just the idea of sitting in water that I'm kind of cleaning myself up, forget it. Anyways, but if you're one of those sort of really loves body creams and doing baths and, you know, taking baths and stuff, that is a little piece of luxury and something you may want to treat yourself to. So I don't really have a lot of hair stuff. The only thing I'm going to include is Ojon because I went without it. Thought I could go without it. I was like, I've used it for years. I'm bored. I'll do something else. Wow. Totally noticed a difference. Had to run out and buy like tons of these. I just had to stock myself up because I never wanted to go through that process again. So through trial and error of you know, this I now realize is a holy grail conditioner for me. I use it every single day. Really, obviously from here down, I don't put anything on my roots. And it's changed my hair. And I can use it every day without it weighing down, feeling greasy. It just feels light and clean and fresh. And the smell, very, very pleasant. Each of their lines, they have a hydrating one, a different one, blah, blah, blah. They do smell different. So if you didn't like one of them, don't write this off completely. But I will say their treatment oil smells like a pack of smoke. So that might not be so good for you. And the last two are fragrances, and I know fragrances are an incredibly personal choice, and for me, sometimes I will say that a fragrance can be more indicative of who you are as a person than the clothing that you're wearing. So that's a pretty big statement. It really, really kind of is a shortcut right into who you are, what your personality is in a very sort of subliminal and almost evolutionary sense, because as we know that, you know, your sense of smell is the first sense that triggers memory, and so it has a very, very huge connection to the brain and on sort of subliminal, subconscious levels. So, oh my god, why did I bother to say all of that? Let's just get to the perfume. Hermes. It is in Jardin sur le Nil. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, but it is gorgeous for a summer light fragrance. As soon as I smelled this, I was in freaking heaven. And for me to use this much so quickly is a huge thing, because it does take a while for your perfumes to go down. And I freaking love it. Light, sort of citrusy, crisp, clean, and yet something kind of a little bit different and odd. It's not, there's complexity to this. It's not like, you know, Sugar Candy Land, or, you know, like grapefruit, like, you know, Bath and Body Works, kind of oranges. It's not like that. There's a little bit more sophistication to it, but it's still very, very clean. And it just smells amazing. And then the last product is more of a winter fall fragrance, although I can see myself wearing this all year round if I'm in a particular mood. And that is Serge Lutin en Bois Vanille, which is sort of wood and vanilla. I mean, it's so complex. There's so many things going on with this fragrance, and it's the best vanilla I've ever smelled in my life, because I'm of this age now where I really don't want to walk around smelling like a cake, or smelling like, you know, cupcakes and bakery goods and things like that. I like a little bit more kind of complexity and interest, rather than just smelling like candy. So a lot of vanillas out there really have that sort of artificial or very candy kind of thing. This does not have that at all. It's like smoke and vanilla and amber and sand. I mean, I have both of these in my fragrance videos that I actually listed all the notes, so that you really get a sense of what they are. And it's really, really complex and incredibly unique. And so this is definitely, both of these are for sure holy grails. And the dry down on this is amazing. But each level is sort of a work of its own. And then the dry down is so gorgeous. And it is heavier. I don't like heavy fragrances. I don't like to sort of assault people with my taste. And this is definitely the heaviest fragrance that I use, which is not saying too much. I would say that Burberry Classic is a little bit heavier than most of the ones that I use. So you can tell how sort of crisp I like my fragrances, but this is so worth it. It just knocked me out the first time I smelled it. I was like, oh my God, I don't even know if I can go into this, but I'm so glad I did. So, wow, 47 minutes. Again, if there's anything that you've seen that you would like me to do a little bit more in-depth, which I can't really imagine because I blabbed for almost 50 minutes, people. That's almost an hour. But if there is, if I've left something out, or you thought, oh, she didn't go into it enough, please let me know, write a comment, and I will definitely do more of an in-depth video on said product. So thank you so much for staying with me. If you have, less than probably 5% of you that have, because it's asking a lot to keep your attention for this long, but I hope it was worth it, and that it's here for you to reference, and you don't ever have to watch this again. You can just look at the list in the below bar. So thanks so much, guys. Mwah!